Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Retro talking to you from beyond the post edit syndrome. Yes, I said that's exactly what I said. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely day. And if you are not, I hope it gets better for you. I wanted to talk a little bit about this current episode going on behind you, or behind my voice in particular. This South Park episode, it's a bit of a funny story behind it, and one that we'll get to about immediately. This was supposed to be episode 2 of the South Park The Stick of Truth. However, it was also the catalyst to a blunder I had. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. This whole YouTube thing is still relatively new to me. As you can tell, I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent with upload schedule, timing, comedy, quality. The whole 9 yards, I'm not consistent with it at all. And that's I guess okay for me right now. I'm still trying to learn and everything. But one of the main things I'm still trying to learn is OBS. This lovely software that I don't quite understand how I got to work in the first place is kind of giving me some headaches. But that's not because of it, that's because I have not quite sat down to really pay attention and really get familiar with it, primarily because I'm an impatient person. But regardless, that is the primary reason why this does not have audio. I have an hour of footage here of the South Park The Stick of Truth part 2. This is after the first episode, obviously, that we were kind of going into. I believe in this episode, if I recall correctly, I, me and Matic, who is not here today because he has to work, we have very conflicting schedules, which I will probably get into a little later. The This episode was probably the funniest, however. This was a lot of fun to record. This was a lot of confusion going on with the second one, or with what was going on in the episode. Um, but while I'm here with the director's Scuff, I guess is what I'm going to call this, I figured I might as well also talk a little bit about, I guess, my experience with South Park and why the Stick of Truth is probably my first major experience with South Park. I was never quite into South Park. For the longest time, I didn't quite understand the humor. Granted, I was very young when it first started to come out. I never quite got it. And for me, I never quite liked the animation style. I thought it was very simple and it didn't quite squeeze out to me. But as I've grown, as I've adjusted to more modern humor, I've actually I've learned to actually quite like this a lot. And for me in particular, the South Park The Stick of Truth was also a game I was actually quite interested in because Matic had played both the Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole. And he recommended, and like I stated in the first episode, he hyped this game up quite a lot. And I have no problem with that. Or not that I had a problem. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I'm just kind of ab libbing or just kind of going off of thought here while I record this. But he hyped this up a lot. And I was actually, like I said, interested in the Stick of Truth in particular. And then I watched him play a portion of the Fractured Butthole. And in his humble opinion, hi Timmy, I think he prefers the Fractured Butthole. I'm going to withhold judgment until I finish both the Stick of Truth and then Fractured Butthole, which I plan on playing as soon as I finish playing this. However, I did also not know that Obsidian made this one, and I believe Ubisoft, I think, was in control of the entire second game. Not too sure, 100%. But I I don't know. I'm still not 100% up to date with the show. I remember finishing season 1, dabbling it into the later seasons, and then just kind of falling off. I'm not sure, but that's also primarily a problem with me. I was never quite the best when it came to sitting down and watching TV. For me, it was a little odd, and for me, I never quite had a. I don't know. I can't sit down and watch TV as well as I used to. But I plan on getting through the show as much as possible. That way, a lot of the jokes in this, or a lot of the humor, I guess, is how I can reach it, or I can like understand the game a bit more. I know Matic had told me that this game, God, I am butchering this encounter right here. To put pause on what I was talking about further, this episode was also, while it was some of the best fun or the most fun I've had playing a game in a long time, this was also a very difficult episode for me. I had a very hard time getting the timing down for both Butter's attacks and blocking. As you could tell with this encounter behind me with or behind us, I guess, or that you're watching, with the four elves in particular, I had a very, very hard time just hitting the right timing, making sure I did decent damage, and I was also not reading the prompts that were coming up. Why? I'm not too sure. Like right here with this 3 hit, I finally got something done, but it only took forever, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why I was having such a bad time playing this and just hitting the right number, hitting the right buttons. But that's just a me thing. But to backtrack, Matic had told me that I didn't really need to know South Park that well to really play this, but he also did fill me in on a few reasonings as to why a few certain things happen. In particular, the being in the vicinity of Cartman and why that will just grant you bad luck. As I believe it's towards the end of this episode where we recruit Token. We also recruit. No, it's just Token because we have not talked to Tweak and we have not talked to Craig yet. But oh no, I believe we have talked to Craig. I'm brain farting mainly, but I am I'm hopeful for this game. I plan on trying to get these out as soon as I can. I have this episode and a couple episodes already recorded that I'm just editing just to make sure there's like nothing I need to censor out or something I said about your mama or something. But I guess I can also use that as kind of a segue to discuss me and Matic. Me and him in particular, we have very weird and different schedules. He works a very consistent, very simple schedule. He works Monday through Friday. He works from this time to that time. I'm not going to get into specifics, but he works a far more consistent schedule than I am. I would argue the most consistent thing about my job, if you can recall towards the Gmod Series video, I am a car salesman. And that's all I'm going to say in regards to that. But for those that have worked in car sales, the car sales schedule, depending on your dealership, can be very, very all over the place. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's nothing wrong, I guess, with me being a car salesman, I guess. I don't know. Not sure if that's the right way to say that. But the main issue that presents is just that there's different times for both me and him to record, and there's nothing wrong, or there's nothing that we can do beyond that. I really wish I had a bit more of a consistent schedule. A lot of these South Park videos and a lot of the videos that we'd be playing earlier, or that I have planned out, like the Minecraft video, very quick, easy. I love Minecraft and I really wanted to play it. And for those that had watched it, there's a bit more going into that. And in that Minecraft video, there's also a lot of me talking about my experience with the card business and just kind of leaving that behind. But to get back on track, talking, recording, or just playing, just having a time that we can really play is very inconsistent between me and him. It's a little difficult to just make sure that we can just get time to play. That's all. And eh, it sucks a little because I really want to try to make this YouTube thing kind of a hobby. I don't I never had the desire, I guess, to really be a YouTuber until a few years ago. Or not really be a YouTuber, but I really like editing. I like the idea of learning like with OBS and the whole audio shenanigans. I really liked playing with the tools. I really like playing with the audio, and I really like playing with the software. Even though my videos aren't as heavily edited as they should be, if you go to episode 1 and you go to the big blur, that took me forever to figure out because I just couldn't get it right. I'm not sure why, but I just could not get it to blur correctly, and I kind of gave up halfway through. Which I won't lie to you, There was supposed to be more to that section where we were in Cartman's mom's house, or her room in particular. I was gonna have I there was a good bit in there, but I just couldn't figure out the editing portion. For me, it was just kind of annoying, but it wasn't the annoying that drew me away. I was having so much fun putting that video together, and I was having so much fun putting. Yeah, see what I mean? I could have nailed this guy, but I decided I'm too impatient with Butters. It like the ramp up and everything is it just takes too long. This whole this whole this whole encounter from these four elves should have been done already, but you know, I suck. But to backtrack, the editing process and everything with recording, with editing, with just playing games that I love, that I have, that I'm finding joy in all this shit in. I can't find that anymore, and I just oh god, I'm probably gonna start crying here just in a second. Or I don't know if start crying is the right word for that, but I'm getting all mushy about just playing games. You know, I've played games all my life. Matic introduced me to the PlayStation 2 that we had, and that oh god, the history of that console. It's a shame that I no longer have that console. It's a shame that Matic took it from me, that bastard. But there's I don't know what it's about, but I enjoy doing this so far. Even if it's for just me and him at this point, there's not a lot, and there's hardly anybody watching it, but I'm having fun with this. I'm enjoying this. So to stop getting all mushy, I guess I might leave the director's commentary here and just kind of let some of the gameplay just kind of play. I'm gonna edit in some non-copyright music to kind of just keep going, I guess. But the God, I went off the rails way too far. I went off the rails with this, but I'll probably leave it at that. I just it was Maddox's idea for this director's cut, and I have to thank him for that in particular. I'm not sure if I'll leave it here, but I guess I will also say I'm sorry for the audio being scuffed or just not existed at all. I really can't even promise that I'll do better, I guess, at this point. Because at this point, I know for a fact OBS is just going to be kind of against me. Primarily because I refuse to sit down and take care of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Eh, I tried. I really tried. Like I said, I have a few other episodes recorded and done. Those have audio. I just need to edit. I just need to make sure there's nothing in there. There's no mention of your mama or anything that I need to edit out. I will get up hopefully as soon as I can. And hopefully I can possibly get a far more consistent recording session with Matic, and it would be nice to I guess have a just a consistent way of doing things. But it is what it is. I can be hopeful and I can pray and I can be a dreamer for all I want. But I will also, I guess, not gonna end it yet, I guess. I guess I will talk about who me and Matic are. For those that are curious, we are siblings. I think I talked about this in the Minecraft video. But me and him, we are siblings, and we like I said, we have different schedules and we have different ideas how to do things. There's some ideas he wanted to implement. The stick of truth was actually his idea, and the fractured butthole after that we're going to play after this was also his idea. That we will leave at that. I'm very excited for the fractured butthole because I am a little more familiar with that than I am this. I remember the whole situation with the difficulty slider for for the fractured butthole. That was a lot of fun. I won't lie. The other half being who is Matic? Like I said, we're siblings. Matic is the kind of voice of reason behind a lot of my shenanigans, and the voice of reason for this video for this channel in particular. I won't harp into that because I actually want to kind of have him speak a bit more. I guess to you, I know spoken a little in terms of the past. If you look through my videos, there's a video called "Hello." It's me having another commentary kind of thing over a bunch of Splatoon gameplay that Um, I think it was me promising that I was gonna play, or that I was gonna play and be more consistent with my upload schedule and everything. But obviously that kind of fell through. Primarily, like I said, timing has just been very difficult, and I can use that as an excuse for as long as it's true. But I will also say there will be some solo content. I do want to have Matic kind of do his own thing on his own time whenever he can. I'll give him the keys to the kingdom and let him do however he pleases. Because I know there's some things he wants to do on his own, and there's some things I want to do on my own. But this couch co-op thing that we have going on, where I stream this to him directly over via Discord, is just a lot of fun. So I'm hoping, not today, I'm hoping to have him kind of introduce himself a bit better. I don't. My real name is probably leaked out a little bit by playing this, and there's nothing wrong with that. His name I kind of want to try to keep. I've actually his name has probably kind of slipped out here and there, and there's nothing wrong with. There's nothing I could do beyond that. The wild, wacky action bike, and then the monk's treasure. God, this session was just so much fun. There was a lot of goofy shit that I found, a lot of goofy shit that I was messing with. It was so much fun. But yeah, I guess I will finally leave it at that. My discussion of incoherent thoughts has gone off the original rails. There was no rails to begin with, but the rails I was trying to, I guess, imaginarily follow are gone, and they don't make any sense at all. So I hope you all have a fantastic day, a fantastic night, fantastic evening, whenever you're watching, morning, afternoon, evening, night. I hope to see you in the next episode, and I hope to get the next episodes out as soon as I can for you and your viewing pleasure. Everyone, be safe. Have a fantastic day.
So at around this point, I wanted to jump kind of back in and just kind of give my own second thoughts about this and kind of do harp back to the what's the word? The not the word, the phrase, the lack of knowledge that I have on the South Park universe in particular. I know that there's a lot of absurdity and there's a lot of goofiness that happens with South Park in general, and to me, it's just kind of hilarious that for me, the funny, not the funniest thing, but the thing that I guess that I really found or that what really stuck, I guess, with me with this episode was just that the fact that the town was relatively normal outside of like all the goofy shit. Like here in a few seconds, we're gonna start going through some of the main buildings, and we're gonna meet Officer Bradbury, Brady, Brad Brady, I believe is his name. It's about to pop up here in a second, but I don't feel like going back and fixing it. But or Bar Brady, rather. Sorry, but just I don't know. To me, just the overall normal nature of this town really kind of threw me off because I always assumed that South Park it was just like, oh, everything is just crazy, goofy, and absolutely absurd for the fact that it can be. Not to mention Bar Brady not even bothered by the fact that I'm just basically committing vandalism right in front of him, breaking parking meters. And now, if I remember correctly, I was probably gonna walk past this building and not even worry about it. I probably would have maybe gotten the whole game probably without touching that. It was Matic that actually recommended me to actually go inside the building, to which I got this nice, funny jump scare of everything going on, which was I don't know why this I found this really funny when I first saw it, primarily because obviously I didn't expect it. It was so just out of left field, and just it's things like this in South Park that really kind of that really just kind of get me. It's just the absurdity of just the fact that, oh, we're just gonna put fucking just HD images that have no place in terms of the art style of this just in, because why not, right? And I mean, I don't have anything wrong with that, but I just find it kind of hilarious. And then obviously I'm gonna not shit through shift through everything and just kind of see how things end up. But here, we get the office key, and then we get the message from Brady, which is honestly kind of cute. It's really kind of cute, kind of how Officer Brady kind of just is in being in terms, not to mention just the message in particular. Oh, made a new friend today. I hope he likes me. I things like that. It's really cute. I also didn't realize that at this moment I went to the building next door prior to getting in here. I didn't realize that the business office key was something else to that I could have looked in on and walked into. So this is a prime example of what I would call me being kind of a dingus in the aspect of, huh, it was just I don't know. I very much take this game at face value, which I feel like I should not be. I take everything literally and just kind of leave it at that. Whereas in the case like this, I probably should be kind of widening my eyes and just letting things kind of be. I noticed this thing on the roof as well. If you see me shooting the arrows at it, I Matic told me not to worry about that for now. That's all he said. And then this I also found was really cute. This I don't know why this was really cute. Just Butters kind of going in saying a stick up, and then just and he ends up revealing that he's very much very familiar with a lot of the people here. When it's I don't know, it just kind of goes to home that Butters is probably like the only sane one here, except for the fact that he's named Butters. But I mean, I still need to watch a lot of South Park. I still need to catch up with a lot of the series. I have found a lot more time on my hands than I recently expected. So hopefully, maybe in the near future, I can start understanding what has happened and why things are going on and what's going on. And maybe pick up on a lot of the nice little like side jokes that everyone's made. But I don't know. Time will tell how well I handle this and then how well I handle the fractured butthole. But I guess from there, I don't know. We'll see what happens. few more for YouTube music. So I also kind of wanted to jump in here and talk about Mr. Kim. This absolute gentleman was definitely another highlight of this whole episode. And I knew that something that I knew I had struck gold when Matic was very gently coercing me. And by very gently, I mean very just saying, you should do this. He was very gently coercing me into the city sushi and city walk um whole storyline here. And in my eyes, I didn't understand why. I just thought it was very funny that there's a city walk and there's a city sushi over there to the right that was one destroyed. And then I picked up on that pretty damn quickly when he had told me about it. And then just going down the whole line up here and leading up to me just fighting Mongolians for the sake of why not, right? Just because we can. I did not This is not something I thought I was going to be getting into. It was really funny going through this whole tower floor by floor, just dealing with Mongolians and their kids, and then just getting to the top floor in particular was hilarious because it was the last thing I expected to get, which I won't talk about until we actually get to the top floor here. But I the city chicken and then just this whole Mongolian like just storyline here was absolutely hilarious. I'm not gonna reveal too much until you actually get to more into the episode, but it was just I don't know why. For me, it was hilarious just watching the all this unfold and the fact that it was letting me do it. The fact it was letting me do it without any, with no consequences for the fact that some damage taken. Like right there with Butters, obviously. I'm still pretty trash at this. I won't lie to you, but my God, I don't have much else to say except that this was definitely my favorite part, just on account of the absurdity. Like this was odd, this was goofy, this didn't make any sense. But I'm so glad I did it, and I'm so glad I listened to Matic in this to do this. Like, and not to mention, those had some pretty decent shit. They, a bunch of used fireworks and stuff like that. But if I remember correctly, I got an update. I got an upgraded bow. I think it was like Mongolian bow or something like that. Just assuming that's what it's called. It's probably gonna show up right here. Excuse me, voice crack. But just this whole section was actually really damn good. I actually had a lot of fun here. And then that with the boss fight, I will also say I don't quite understand the hairstyle of this gentleman right here to the right. I I'm not gonna talk anything about that. I just don't quite understand it. Get it? Which is why I'm going to mug him. Pow. Matic talked me into going more into mug primarily because of how hilarious it was to just knock somebody out like that. I don't know why it's hilarious just to see the main character just like the whole build up and swing and then just the robbing of an item was really hilarious in my opinion. Not to mention it helps a lot with just deleting somebody from most combat. Like I don't think I touched upon it too much, but the Mongolians hurt a lot. And the general theme of this episode was, excuse me, was that I'm pretty damn trash at this. As you can tell, I'm still messing up Butters hits, and then I'm still messing up blocks, and I'm still eating a lot of damage. And it's God, I'm hoping that I can provide some decent entertainment value for this at some point or another. But I uh, really am trash.